Right, I'm going to be doing a little modification on the Multi Kruzer. You can do it on a few things really. You just got to work out what size screws you need. And I wanted to, if you look at the bottom, we've got this speaker grill, and then these screws are not what I like to see. Yeah, I like it to look a bit funky, so we're going to jazz this up. And in order to do that, you need to work out what size screws they are, which I already did. They're M3s. I've ordered some already, and there they are. So we've got anodized gold, sort of orangey gold, not just normal gold. And then we got the green, which kind of represents my logo colours, which is why I chose those colours. You can get whatever colours you want. But these screws are M3s because they're 3mm across with the thread, and then they're 9. But ideally, if you can find 10s, that's what the originals were. They were 10mm long from the bottom of the head to the end. And so that's what we're going to be putting in. So I'm going to take these off using a Phillips screwdriver. And then I need because these are Allen key screws, so you need an Allen key that fits those, and then we're going to put those in. Right, so just quickly, when you take off the cap that's covering this waterproof speaker, don't really touch this because you don't need to be messing with it, but you can clean in here if you want and go around these. Just make sure there's no water getting into the threads. Where the screws are going to go, you can clean around here, which is what I'm going to do. And yeah, just give it a little clean up, and then we're going to put the lid back on with the new screws. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, right, I've got all the screws in. They're looking pretty sexy, and the green goes quite well with the charging cap and the coil. I've taken it off the shaft. There's only one screw that holds it on in that position there, and it just pulls off. I've got the Amphibio shaft. It's still one screw on the original. I've started taking these screws out already because I'm going to show you how to change the battery in one of these. There's 12 screws that go all the way around the outsides. Just got a few left to take out. Leave all these screws in. These are just for the speaker. Don't need to touch those now. They're going to stay there. And then we're going to pop this open, and very carefully I'm going to show you how to change the battery. Okay, so I've got all 12 screws out. You just want to ease this, kind of just rock it really slowly, because inside there's like these rows of pins, and there's actually the circuit board for the main display plugs onto the circuit board at the back, and so you've got these rows of pins in two places, and you need to like really ease it off slowly, just giving it slightly little rocks and pulling really slow. So I'm going to take it off and show you what it looks like. Right, this is what it looks like when it's pulled apart. So you can see here you've got these pins that stand off from the circuit board, and then you've got these pins over here also, and they match up with these two areas. So that kind of sits on there, so you're kind of like rocking it and pulling it straight to get them off without putting any stress, because you don't want to damage these, and you don't want to bend these either. So now we've got this off. This bit, we're not doing anything with that, just leave that to one side. And this is where the battery is. This is the battery. It has a thyristor that comes off the circuit board. It says sensor. It's just to monitor it to see if it's overheating. If ever you get an overheating problem come up on your thing, chances are it either needs a new one of these wired into here, or it is the battery overheating, which could be a power supply issue, could actually be a faulty battery. Bit of silica gel inside, and get rid of that. There's this bar going across. It's just made of rubber to hold in the battery. And then there's this one clip here that you push down on and pull it, and this will come out. This is what's connecting the battery to the main circuit board. So 2 screws off, which I'm going to do now, and then we'll unplug this. Right, so the thyristor just kind of wiggles out from the sellotape. I'm sure you can put any sellotape on this battery. Right, so I've unplugged it. It's not stuck down or anything. And this is what it is. It's a LiPo battery, 3.7 volts. Make sure you get the correct one put in as a replacement. And then obviously you just put your replacement battery in. Don't actually need to change this at the minute, so I'm just going to put it straight back in. This connector just goes on there and slides in like that. You obviously get your new bit of tape and put the thyristor nice and snug and tight up against the battery. And now we're going to put this back on. I'm going to screw this back down over the battery, and then we're going to squeeze the display back on top. Okay, so I've got the battery strap going over the top again with the rubber. And this, you kind of just drop it on really slowly until it's sitting there with a gap like that. There's these little plastic pillars going round to guide it in, so that kind of helps. And then once you've got it looking like this, you just, using two hands, you just apply a bit of pressure and just keep working it on its way down, and eventually you'll feel it slot in. And then just make sure it's squeezed in nicely and even everywhere. And then we'll put these screws back on. But before I do mine, I'm actually going to give it a little clean around these edges with some cotton buds and a bit of alcohol rub, just to clean it while it's open, while I can, because you can see like there's a little bit of nasty dirt in there. Right, oh yeah, and while we're in here, I might as well give you a little, this is what you got. This is what you get for your money inside this machine. You get that little circuit board there, obviously the plugs for the coils, the display, the battery. This is the circuit board. Aqua 01 MBR. This is the motherboard. This is what it looks like. It's quite solid actually. It's very nice to work with, especially with being able to pull this apart. I mean, I've taken the Garrett AT Pro apart, and it's a bit messy because you have to get a heat hairdryer and lift up this to get to the screws and stuff, whereas this is much more manageable. Right, I'm gonna give it a little clean, then I'll put the top on. Okay, right, I've pushed it back down, it's there ready to go. I was just going to say, while you've got it in this, I mean, I've pretty much done mine already, but you might want to go around and clear all the mud out of all the screws if you want it looking nice and fresh again before you put it all back on. Right, let's get the screws in. Right, I've got this all looking good again. Now, I've got the Amphibio shaft, so I just drop mine down into there, and it's one screw on the back. So I'm going to do that, wiggle this down. It's pretty simple to do. And then you just got the one screw there to put back in, and then put the coil on and we're done.